right your position. Make sure you're not trying to overdo that position. It's a lot of arch and stiffness in your back.
I don't think I'm doing it. Not sure why I'm videoing them right now.
Kelsey, I'm going to tell you, grab a hold of the horn with your free hand, and while you're jogging, scoot yourself up in that. There we go. That's where I want you. Now just for kicks, bring your toe up, Kelsey. There. That's the alignment that I want. So make sure you let her see that, like in your filming part. Let's get her where she's completely profiled here. It'll take a second. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and extend our jog this way. And again, even though it's called an extended or a sitting trot, you have to think about following the trot. The trot's here, 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 here. So your body or your feet, everything needs to follow the trot. And get in sync or in rhythm with it. And if you follow it correctly and you're in sync with it, then you are going to be sitting. But you can't think about trying to sit the trot. Good. Look up, and I like that you're staying here, but make sure that you're not just like looking up at the clouds. Like what I would, if you guys do rail work, don't you, or no? Yeah. Okay. So the ideal way to get your chin exactly level is to look at the person in front of you's hat. That's the spot to look at. So even though you're first in line here, if you can imagine someone in front of you, just look at their head or look at their hat. There you go. That's the right position, and that keeps your chin exactly right. It keeps your eyes right. All right, let's go ahead and collect them back or slow back to the jog. So one thing to think about a little bit in slow, again, I know that you guys have been schooling all this at this point because you're getting ready to go to nationals. When you want to slow down, when you're going from an extended jog to a jog, when you go from an extended lope to a normal lope, this is how I describe the process. You may already have this exact process in your mind, but you cannot go fast and then go slow. It's a little bit like I always correlate it. Can you hear me okay, Kelsey? So I correlate it a little bit like driving your car. When you're going to slow down and make a turn, you have your foot on the gas. So then you take your foot off the gas and then you put it on the brake. You shouldn't be driving with the right foot on the gas and the left foot on the brake, right? So you don't let one off and put one on at the exact same moment. There's a little pause. So what I mean, how that correlates to your horse thing is when you're extending the jog and you're going to slow down, and again, this also goes back to what I said is what your ideal transition is like, or your ideal pattern would be like, is to see a horse trot, 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 slow down, right? But you can't ask in that way to get the look. You have to, what I do is I trot, 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 trot. When I'm ready, before I'm ready to slow down, just before I'm ready to slow down, I let off the gas. Because I'm telling them to trot, 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 and then I let off the gas. When I feel them respond to that, then I ask them to slow down. If you try to ask them to slow down right after you push them, they're not going to come backwards. So with all that in mind, let's go back up to an extended trot for a minute. I'm going to ask you to do your slow transition one at a time so I can really see it. So all three of you go ahead and extend. Actually, the look is more dramatic when you do it that way, but that's not what you did in your head. It's a longer process, right? All right, push your horse along a little bit more for me, Cecilia. Like challenging more. See what you've got. There you go. All right, when you get over by the telephone pole that Kelsey just passed, that's where I want you to slow down. So again, when you're 5 steps away, you're gonna let off the gas right there. Now call him. Whoop, easy. He's pretty responsive. Do it again, just for practice. It's no big, that's why we're here. Go all the way over here to this telephone pole where Kelsey is currently. Push, and then again, you're just going to let off and then ask him. Now ask him to come to you. Good. And finish it. Make sure that's another little piece of the puzzle is you push, you let off, you start asking them to slow down, but then go ahead and continue until the moment that they're doing the correct job. But again, the look, the visual of it is that you're going fast and you're going slow. But there's all those steps. There's 4 different things that are happening in the process. You push, you let off the gas, you call them back, and then you complete the callback. There you go. That was better. Good, Cecilia. All right. So all the way over here, Kelsey, keep pushing to this telephone pole, but when you're at that post before is where you're going to let off, and then you're going to call him back just before the pole so that happens at the pole. There you go. You could, but come on, this is what I'm talking about by that last step is finish the callback. Make him come, that's all right. Try again. You have to kind of, I know you don't get the test very much at the show, but you get the test here, so that's why it's good that you can kind of see how they respond. Push him back up to an extended jog, Kelsey. Push. Okay, when you get to that telephone pole, you're going to slow down. So just before, you're going to quit pushing. Now call him back with your hand. That's all right, so too much, right? No big deal, but you just have to adjust it. So push up to your extension and do it at the next telephone pole. So push, 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 come on. Let off, now say come here. All right, but look, all you need to move your hand, you need to feel your way into that transition. Don't just pull because I tell you to pull. You need to, it's like, you need to pull until you get the right response. Slowly, you need to search for it. Better, there, that's better though. But it's not a, look at me, it's not a matter of doing that and then giving up. It's just searching for the right spot that he responds and then staying there. So, if you look at it like a meter, all right, so like your radio control in your car. You know how it's got a little knob, it's like 0 to 10 for the volume, right? Yeah. So let's say you're at 10 because we're extending, but we want to listen, we like how it sounds at 7. You don't go to 3 and then back up to 7. You shouldn't anyway. You should go 9, 8, 7, stop. So the reason I give you that analogy is when it's time to slow down, you're pushing, you let off the gas, but when you call him, you need to go 10, 9, 8, 7, searching for the moment that he responds to the slowdown and then let your hand stay there. Don't run past that moment. Is that a little too technical? Are you all right? All right, so try it. Let me see that. Let me see your version of that. So push him on that extension for a minute. Excellent. So what you were doing before was running past that. I mean, 7's just an arbitrary number. It's not a real number. You were running past it.
How was I not hurting their ears?
By feel, not by just mechanically touching. Does that make sense? All right. Andrea, I want you to do it again. Stand all the way till you get up here where this barrel is at the end of the ring and then slow down. But I want it to be pretty. I want you to challenge it. I want you to ride nice. Then you're going to let off the gas, then you're going to ask him to slow down, then you're going to finish the slow down to a finished trot. Easy. Very easy, but you have to relax. Don't, you stay tight. I love the challenge all the way up there, really good. And then the start to the slow down was good, but then you were a little caught off guard by that. It needs to be a lot smoother and not so abrupt. We want it to look abrupt, but we can't ask for it abrupt. So do it again. all the way over to the telephone pole that near Cecilia. So even though you're going fast, it always should be a rhythmic fast, not just fast alone. Very good. Rhythm, rhythm. Let off. Come back. Finish. Finish a little bit more. Pull. You can pull on him for a second. You won't hurt my feet. Just pull on him. Pull and hold though. Don't. Just pull and hold. Make him come back and relax. But you can slow him down. You need to think a little bit more like kind of half walk, half jog. Now, Andrea, you should be creating every footprint with that right front leg. So you're going to create it. It's going to go exactly here. It's going to go exactly this length, and it's going to go exactly with this much force. Very nice. Much better. All right, so Kelsey and Cecilia, did you hear what I said to Andrea just now? Andrea, sorry. I want you to create the hoof print with your lead front leg, every one of them, and I want them to be uniform. So when your horse steps like this, it doesn't sometimes step a little bit right, sometimes a little left, sometimes long, sometimes short. You're going to tell it to go right here, right here. You really want to create that hoof print. Good. Good job. Good. So that, to me, you're riding him better now, Andrea. But I would challenge you to even create it a little bit more precise than what you're doing, because it's way better. But again, I know this horse, and he gets a little scattered, and he looks a little bit scattered. So I want you to create a little more precise. So, which to me also translates to just a little bit softer, a little bit more controlled hoof print. Exactly. There, come on, just sit real quiet so he has a neutral place to come back to. If you have an active seat or too active of a leg, or he can't come back and settle. So you have to get really neutral and really balanced and then say, come here, I'm not going to bother you. Explaining turn.
Who's going first?
Andrea.
Let's go ahead and start to the left.
So how old are these horses?
Different ages. That one is
like just
7.
knowing the horses and knowing a little bit
This
about
one is 8, and this one's like 7. They belong to
taught to us a lot is you have to do, and especially when it comes to
the girl that owns that one is from South Carolina.
you have to do everything correct. Like you have to.
The girl that used to own this one.
You can't blow the horses out of the water. You can't have a big mistake. You have one rider make a big mistake in the team competition. It makes everybody else's job a lot harder.
Yeah.
So, as far as the turnaround goes,
They all look
make sure you can turn some raiders and that stuff. Like you have to have a good start. You have to have a good start. You have to have a good cadence. And sometimes that cadence doesn't necessarily mean that it's the fastest turn, because sometimes the fastest turns can be the ugliest turns and kind of make the jumps go, this is too rough. Okay. So you have to have a good start, and you always, since you're showing horses that you don't have a lot of knowledge about, you have to play it safe. You start with the hand, you feel the horse's front leg move, and you can follow through with your foot, right? Okay. And again, you can't. These horses all have pretty decent turnarounds on them. You can't overdo the turnaround. And in this competition that you're coming to, you don't want to overdo that because you don't know what the end is going to be. You can always add, but they would always tell us. You can always add, but you can never take back, right? Okay. So think about those things, and let's start this process a little bit. So remember, you're going to enter your turn with your hand, and then when you feel the horse's front end unlock, you bring them around with the foot. So stop for just a second. So for me, knowing where you guys are going, if somebody has a turn that's a little more cadence than that and the horse stays in the bridle, they're the one that's going to win, okay? And I like your aggression. I don't want to talk you out of that, okay? But I've been there a lot, and I've seen it a lot. Pretty and correct is usually what wins, okay? So that doesn't mean don't stop riding, because I think you have a lot of great skills, okay? okay? But remember, really try, so for a good turnaround for us in the horsemanship, we want to see a great start, we want to see a cadence turnaround, and we want to see those horses stay in the bridle, okay? So to me, you're overriding your horse's turn there because you're sending him straight out of the bridle. Do you feel that? So see, like you have a good feel, I think you have a pretty good feel in your hand, so let's see if we can't just make that a little better.
Get the cadence in the front feet. There you go. There.
Good. So
Improvement.
I can tell you that you usually have pretty proficient judges here at your nationals. It's like you get the luxury of having some judges that would judge a world show, a congress, stuff like that. That's always going to be way more credit earning than even though the one before it was really fast. Like it was and really, truthfully, it wasn't that much faster. It just looked more erratic. Really, you were very efficient getting around right there, okay? So let's go ahead and turn to the right.
Rhythm. There you go.
That's much better. Good. Okay, and you keep hearing him say rhythm. And like to me, like when I start a turn, and when I enter that turn, and I know that my horse is turning, the first thing, like when he's saying rhythm, I'm thinking about my front feet counting. I showed reiners for a lot, so like that's something that was drilled into me. I want them to be like, I say I want them to be like little sewing machines. They don't necessarily have to be like fast sewing machines, but boom, 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 boom. Okay, really work on that rhythm because that rhythm is what will kind of finish those turns out. And sometimes there you guys don't get like a horse that it's luck of the draw. Sometimes you don't get a great turnaround horse. Sometimes somebody will get the one that spins really fast and all that stuff. But if you have a proficient judge and they watch you really work that turnout like you work that turnout, they should give you credit. And most of the time they will. So don't get caught up in, especially like in the, because you're the open rider, right? So especially in that open division, don't get caught up in I have to do everything harder and faster than the last one to win, okay? Because that's not necessarily what wins. It has to be correct, and it has like all the things that he's talking to you about, your horsemanship skills. Those have to be on target. Because that's what's going to carry you to the top and get you a score that you're going to want to post on that board for the team, for the team. As opposed to not a score because you made a big bobble because you're trying to do something a little too hard and too rough. Okay, so again, let's do this. Let's do a little exercise. Let's do two spins to the left, 2 spins to the right. Okay, like if we were in our pattern work, and let's see how you. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to jump in with something. Remember when we were working with the girls and they really kind of got a little mantra together, and you're going to have to help me remember how they said it, but it was like getting the first step, getting in tempo, and then accelerating the tempo or something.
Yeah.
Is that the right
because
phrase?
once you're like what he's saying is what you get into the turn, you initiate the turn.
That's right.
You initiate the turn, you get into the turn, and I'm talking to you about not riding too aggressive. But if you have a good sense and a feel, and you feel what's going on, if you can challenge it, you can challenge it, and that's the acceleration part that he's talking about right there. Okay?
So watch my feet. These are the front legs of the horses. The horse. This is me with my hand. I'm going to ask it the step. So this is initiating the turn, right into the tempo, and then you can accelerate the tempo. So, but it's that fluid stuff, just like we talked about in the gallop, just like we talked about in the extended trot. The more rhythmic you are, the prettier it comes around, and quite honestly, the more efficient your horse is and the faster you can turn. So the more it's a rhythm-based work, the more acceleration you can get out of it. And it's more comfortable, even if it's a horse that's not proficient like what he's described. So just think about what I just showed you. You're going to initiate, fall into your tempo, and then just smoothly accelerate the tempo and do the exercise he's telling you.
And think about those footfalls and counting. Like I'm a counting type person, so like rhythm to me is like counting, okay? So in my head, I would have that sewing machine rhythm in my head, that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because it helps. It really, really helps.
rhythm out even if there is. So if you could relax your hand just a tick, I think, and that doesn't mean you do this with it, just you don't have to pull them back here. You don't pull more and more and more. It's keeping your hand balanced around that turnaround. And what I think is you're trying to pull him around with your hand, which you've got to do a little bit, but I think if you soften your grip, I would say, on him, same technique, just soften your grip, I think you'll get more turnaround. Try it one more time. There we go.
Good.
There. You feel the difference in that turnaround? And all you did was soften your grip, period. You didn't do another thing different, right? So your technique, just like he's telling you, your technique's there. So this is that feel part of it.
And from the ground, that is gonna get you in this competition, in this style of competition. That type of turnaround is going to get you a lot of credit.
That was your best one.
Yeah.
For me by far.
Because that was technically correct all the way around from start, like what he's talking about, to initiate the turn, to get into the turn, and then turn around. Very seldomly would you come out at a weird angle, right? So in your practice process, that's something that's very important in the turnaround work, that you're facing a fence like at a 90-degree angle somehow. So like that fence should be facing a 90-degree angle. So let's go ahead and think about everything that we talked to Andrea about, and let's start to the right on this horse again also.
Starting with her foot.
Okay, so like right there, did you guys all see that?
Mm-hmm.
So stop for just a second, because that turnaround's not going to get any better. Okay, so
you have to lead him into the turn again. So you lead with your hand. There you go.
there, that's better.
Can you see that he's looking to the outside? What that tells me from down here, and he's going to jump in and tell you the same thing, is you have too much lag involved.
He's as far as the turnaround work goes, he's pretty light. He's pretty light in his sides. He doesn't need, like, he has a little 11-year-old kid that rides him and just kind of goes here, and he spins around for him. Okay? So, but in the same sense, like, because what, are you the advanced rider? Okay. So you have to be good enough to feel that right from the beginning. Even though you started that better, you have to be, and you're a good enough rider and you ride very well, like, get it together right there. Say, he's looking to the left. The only reason you looking to the left is I'm kicking him with my left leg really hard. Okay?
Or your pull, because just for experiment's sake, take your hand to the right too far and tell me take your hand to the right and just hold it there. I'm not worried about turning. Which reign's tighter right now? Huh? So what is that going to probably do as you rotate around? See how he's staying between when you really... So you have to keep him centered between the reins, and your hand can't create the asymmetry to it, you know. And it's a most common mistake. You're not doing anything that thousands of people haven't already done. So you have to keep him between those reins. So this goes a little bit back to something I told you, like, about where you look. So even though you want to look up, you can't look over here and leave your horse behind and not know what's happening here. So you need to look around, of course, but you need to be well aware of what's happening underneath. So try to combine all these pieces with what he's telling you.
One thing that he says to our kids a lot, because these horses all have pretty finished turnarounds. Some have better turnarounds, but they're pretty trained in their turnaround work. Something that, like, I like that he says a lot to our riders is, I want you to sit here and just bring your horse around. And he does this motion, and I like the motion. I want you to sit in the center and just bring your horse around. Okay? So in, like, getting, like, at this competition and getting some horses that turn better, some that have really good turnarounds, some that don't have really good turnarounds, you really have to think about all the techniques that we're telling you, and add that whole, I'm going to sit right in the center of my horse and bring my horse around.
You should have a sensation that you're doing this. Not that you're going out like this or anything. Even though, realistically, his back feet are there, so your body is actually doing a circle about this big, probably. But you should have the sensation that you're doing this. So that's just another layer. It's not changing anything else. So we're going to stop talking for a minute. I want you to practice, but try to add those layers in there and see about all those pieces. Pay attention to your horse's position. Do he start? and feel like you can sit still basically and rotate around. Ride the front end around. That's another term that we hear. Sit still, ride the front end around. There you go. Get a rhythm. You need to keep turning.
You just need to keep turning there and find that.
There you go. That's better. Rhythm. 1, 2. Remember the sewing machine? That's part of the layer.
There you go.
Better.
Better.
I
Okay.
use my right leg a little.
What's that?
I had to use my right leg to get his cheeky.
Well, just a little bit, like a little bit, but you shouldn't have to do the more. If that's happening,
I just whizzed it. I went
right? Exactly. No, I'm not complaining about that at all. But just really make sure that horse is really balanced between the reins. Okay, go ahead and try that right turn around again. Good. Now soften your hand. Kind of ride him around there. Better. Better. Good. And stop. Good. Much better. That was a good, and again, that like had a lot of cadence to it. It looked very efficient. The horse wore the bridle, but meaning the horse like stayed packed in the bridle. You didn't send the horse out of the bridle. There wasn't weird steps. All those things are very credit earning things. Okay, and I keep saying that because I just know where you guys are getting ready to go, and you've got to have that stuff on your mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn to the left now on him.
You're going to initiate the turn and get in the tempo, which is the rhythm and the speed of the rhythm. Come on, it's a constant rhythm there. So, and then if you're in a good tempo or in a good rhythm, then you can increase the speed of the tempo.
Exactly. So a way
But
good
only-
start and a pretty balanced turn, but listen to what he said. So let's turn this time. And like I can tell you, like on this horse, by the time you've initiated the turn and you're in the turnaround, challenge him a little bit. Like say, I've got to do 2 360s here. Like, and I'm in like 90 degrees. I'm gonna try to get my horse around and see what happens. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10, if you get them started nicely and they feel balanced right here, those horses are pretty good turners and they're going to stay in that turnaround. Okay? So let's go ahead and turn to the left again. Good. Good.
Go right into your rhythm though. See, like you're taking one step and then, so you're almost doing it sectioned. It's one followed by the rhythm. It's not one, now let's do rhythm. It's one right in the rhythm. So do it again. There,
Find that
exactly.
rhythm.
Keep going until you get it organized. That's it. That's it. Come on. Keep him motivated. That's it. Keep those front feet working.
Good. Now pull him back
Yeah.
a couple of steps there, and let's do that again. Okay, because there were some parts of that got really good, and then it got a little weak in some spots. Okay, so just because we said that you don't need to like spur him really hard, don't stop riding in the turnaround. Okay, because you have, even though you're allowed to use spurs, you've got a lot of different aids, right? You've got the whole rest of your leg, right? That you can put your calf on your horse. You've got your vocal aid. Say, come on, let's go. So let's just challenge that. Let's get into that turn. You're getting into it better, and then just like start riding that rhythm. Ride those front feet. Ride that count. Ride any of those things, because we both said really different things, different ways of saying it, but meaning the same thing.
So the
Okay,
first
whatever-
step is the initiating step, but it leads to the tempo. It's not the first step, then the tempo, then the increase. Watch me. So I'm gonna stand like this. This is how your horse's front legs are. So he's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know, like that. I mean, you don't want to count to 12 necessarily, but it's the 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's kind of what you're doing is 1, 1, 2. I want you to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Does that make sense? So try it. You're doing good. It's just a lot of information. Just give yourself a moment to digest. There you go. Keep telling him to keep a rhythm. Use your skills to make that happen.
Way better.
There.
Way
That
better.
was good.
So to me, that showed like a rider that was a little more aggressive and like wanting it without like going over the top and having it be a big mistake. Okay.
Go back to the right. See if you just put that to work there, back to practice. There we go. Come on. That worked. So I'm going to tell you the same last piece of advice I gave Andrew. At this point, the thing that you need to do is don't give up your hand, but you need to relax your grip on it. And do everything else you're doing. So try it again. Go to the right one more time with all the same technique, but just relax your grip on his reins. There you go.
Good.
Because the relaxing the grip, what it does is give them just a little more freedom. And with the freedom, they can do the acceleration that you guys want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Once you take a break, and Kelsey, you go after. This is
Good. Okay, so one thing I'm going to tell you, I thought you really had a lot of feel in that the beginning of that turnaround. I thought you really understood where your horse was and brought him around. Make sure that you're not, like, when he was talking to you guys about your general horsemanship, your general riding, it happens every place. So he talked about your points and your balance and your seat. You cannot lean to the outside and try to push the horse around with your left seat bone. Be very centered. That, like, see this thing that he always tells our riders I like a lot. Okay?
you have to stay right here. Because the better balanced you are, I don't care if you're galloping, extending, turning, changing leads, the better balanced you are, the better and easier it is for your horse to do what you're trying to tell him to do. So when you guys get contorted, you start to actually counteract what you're telling them to do inadvertently. I mean, not purposely, but what he just described to you, you're actually pushing the spine this way while you're trying to tell him to turn that way. Does that make sense? And I know that's not your intention, but that's what's happening. So it's a lot of layers to think about, but set still, set balanced, and do the technical stuff we talked about.
Okay, so let's do that again and just see if you can sit in that saddle square this time and see what happens to your turnaround.
Come on around. Don't be afraid to ride. Pull him back.
Let's pull him back right there. Pull on him. Kind of pull him back.
You're not going to hurt.
Okay. So again, think about that. You initiate the turn, okay? You initiate, and then you bring your horse around, okay? So,
Yeah.
Technically, this is where this horse is
We do
first
that
step.
while we're singing stuff. We don't.
guys,
Yeah.
really think about that, what he said. That's something that helps me a lot.
This horse is
Like
such a
your
sweet.
first step, like if we're turning to the left,
Not
you want the
sideways.
first step, you want to imagine this left leg going someplace like that.
Back and allows this one to cross. It's not like you're trying to force this one across because that's what forces them out there.
These two horses are only a little bit older than Shaker.
There you go, and then just follow around. That's better.
They're 7 and 8.
There. Good.
Good.
Much better. Ooh, pulling back.
Go ahead and pull him back.
He needs it for his correction. You need
Yeah.
to say, come here. Pull. Right, pull. You're not going to hurt him. There you go. He's 13. He's been pulled on before.
Okay, so now let's go ahead. That was way better there. Okay, so one thing I'm going to tell you a little bit. I think the difference in the two, like, I think you really are working to find a good cadence and working with all those things that we're doing. Like we had to like talk to them about like softening their hand a little bit as they like enter the turn. I would say your hand's a little too soft in the turn. Like I'd like to see you have just a little more feel in the bridle and make sure your horse is there turning around, and then you can always soften from that. That's another thing I think that's important for you guys, because the last thing you want to do is set your hand down and turn one of these horses you're going to show, because you don't know what they're going to do, right? But like you guys figured out, like once you're into that, like once you're over that 90-degree mark, you pretty much know what you have at that point. So if you need to soften to get a better cadence and that stuff, it's okay. Like it's good at that
Right.
point.
So to follow up, you can start your turn and then you release your grip after you're in your tempo. You don't have to start necessarily with a release.
I
Grip.
like the way you said that. Does that make sense, the way you said that? Okay. So now let's go the other way and think about those other little pieces.
They're a really good team.
Release your grip a little bit. Come on, make him move his front feet. Just make him get around. Kick him a little bit. Keep kicking. There you go.
Move your leg up.
Exactly. Now stop. Move. Now I want you to think about something. when they turn, it's the same thing as walking, extending the walk, jogging, extending the jog. Their front leg motion is exactly the same. Instead of going here, it's going here. So it's exactly the same motion. So how would you ask this horse to go from the walk to the jog? Right? And if you wanted to go from the jog to the extended jog, how would you do it? Right. It's like, come on, let's go. So it's not just kicking him with the right leg to go left. You're telling him, let's move your feet back. That's what I want you to do. I'm saying that for a reason. So now try it again and think about all the different layers. This is the last layer added on. Most recent. Come on, just say keep moving. That's it. Come on, that's it. Good. Now stop and bring him right back to the right. So this is for him. Just pull him right, even if it's ugly. There. Now, put your hand back down. And follow the rhythm around. Come on. Stay balanced. Stay balanced. There. Better. And what happens, the reason, pulling back. So you're traveling. You see how you started over here and now you're on top of Clint? So that's why you have to feel like this. Okay? Second thing is, what happens with your body getting out of place, when you really try to push too hard with your leg, your body, like if I try to push with my right leg, my body does this. So you have to be able to use your leg. You know how I'm making you use your feet just for the ankle joint? You can use things independently. You don't have to kick with your whole body. You can kick with your foot, right? So let's turn to the right, and again, another layer is I want you to feel like you're sitting still, meaning you're rotating, but you're not going out. You're going to turn in that little place right there. There we go. Radically.
That was a way better effort.
Now stop. That's your best turn by miles right there. Do you see that? You feel that sensation?
So what made sense to you right there? Because that was like 180 degree like difference in your riding right there.
When you said you don't have to kick with your whole leg, you could just use your foot, and I started using like more pressure with my heel instead of like trying to push out.
That was radically different. That was, and again, you don't have spurs on and stuff. He's a little different with spur, but that was like a really nice little turn.
It was, and it's something you just did. I want you guys to see it. I want you to see it. So, show me again what you said that you were doing when you were pushing with your whole leg. Yeah, where's your body? So which way are you trying to go? You know what his nature is to stay under you, because otherwise he feels out of balance. So if you're going over this way but you're telling him to go that way, it's totally counterintuitive. So if you're balanced, you got to stay open. You can't get this way.
I know.
And it all comes from
I swear, my stomach's
so which way was that turn?
That was her right turn.
Let's see your left one and thinking about all those same little bits. There.
Good job.
Keep working at it. Keep working at it. That's it. Good. All right. So you had to work at it, but you didn't use your whole body. You used your foot, and you actually had more success with that turn. And see where you are? You're not over on top of the now. Well, it's having all those layers of thoughts that you're going to stay here, you're going to turn, you're going to use your foot, you're going to keep your horse here, you're going to keep a rhythm. It's a lot of, but it's just layer after layer. It's not trying to fill your mind with too many thoughts. Just building those layers so that you have each each thing in place, and then it just, when I told you at the end of the last turn, you feel that sensation. That's once you feel it, then it's more clear in your mind and you know where you're going. You know, I'm not just trying to follow our work. All right, so really quickly, I want you to come back. I want you to go out there for just a minute because you've heard more information now, and just show me a turn right and turn left. I don't care. I'm okay if you go a turn and a half, 2.5 each way. You go till it feels good, and then you stop and go the other way. Okay? Sorry. She's getting over here. Thought she was asking me a question. Because I saw her back there kind of.
Yeah,
she started thinking about the foot. I got better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Be patient. Feel it out. All right.
Okay, so stop right there for a second. So that's like something that you will see like a lot. Like you'll see at your horse show that you're getting ready to. Don't let that happen. Just don't let yourself, because like that's getting in a really bad spot where that horse is going to come up and out of the bridle, look to the left, and he's going to stop and run backwards, and then you're not going to be able to put a score up for the team. When that happens, you better get your hands off. You better get out of the way, because you're in your horse's way too hard to the spot that he can't function. Okay, so try that again. The only reason I know that is I had that happen to me one time. It was real disappointing.
Oh.
There you go. Now work your rhythm out. Good.
You made something happen there that was positive. And again, you want to feel like that. You want to feel a little bit like a princess. It's not. I know that you've ridden Rainer some and all that. You need to feel like you just get to sit here and your horse turns around. I mean, that's what you're trying for. That's your goal. So turning to the left again. We're going to turn back left and back right. And I want you to think about that. I want you to feel like you can sit still and just work it out. Work the rhythm without feeling like your body. That's
good.
Nice. Come on. Good.
Good.
Now back to the right, but feel your way into this. When you switch direction, you got to feel your way in it. Sit still and sit balanced. Give him a chance. There you go. There.
Good.
That's all right. See, like right there, quit pushing and just let him find a rhythm. When that's happening, all you have to do is just allow your horse to find a rhythm. There. Exactly. All right, turn him to the right again. You're all right. He needs a confidence turn to the right, and you do too. So just be calm and let him find that rhythm, because that's, again, you're just asking him too hard for what there. Just work on the rhythm. That's it.
Good.
Look what happens with his headset. It gets better and better. So that's where you've got to feel. I mean, that's what I would like to see you get out of this, because you have lots of skill and lots of technique. You need to refine it. That's exactly what I would.
Well, and I think you found that spot. Like I saw that time when I saw you turn, like I really saw you find that spot where you said, I'm okay now. And you can go back to all those layers that we're talking about as far as accelerating. You finally found the spot that he was comfortable and you were comfortable with accelerating in that moment. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And then it looks like it's a very polished look then. And again, like hopefully the two judges that are sitting there, like they'll be like, well, God, that girl's got tons of feel. Because most of those upper echelon judges that I call them, that your world show judges, and those they've got good eyes, and they would appreciate that right there. Okay, because that could have been a very bad moment if you had asked too hard. He could have spit the bit and said no, thank you, and then you're running across, you're backing across the arena and not putting up a score for your team.
But you have to like take responsibility for that, or take ownership of that, and know how to handle it, because nobody's going to be in the middle of the ring talking to you in that moment. You're going to have to recognize that and then be proactive about the solution part of it, and not just panic and go try to muscle your way through it. All right, Cecilia, you to go back out. And again, our goal is just to turn a couple of times each way. I just want to let you guys, after you've had time to sit here, just try it.
Enough battery? Turn it off now. They say that ours.
So you have to just follow the trot. Good. Go on a little bit. Just get a rhythm and go on.
He can go a lot faster than that too.
Like you're probably going 50% speed right now.
The little girl that owns it would have gone around this arena twice if we told her to extend trot right now. There, that's getting better.
All right, but are you trying to have your toes up or your toes down right now? Because this guy, I have a hard time telling what you're doing.
What do you want?
I want him to go down. And you're going to go back to the dog. Good. So what I just saw there, and it's a common thing that happens, and I'm not so sure it didn't happen with you also, Sam. Like you were trotting, and then like you lean back thinking you're slowing down, but watch this part of my body when I lean back. Where does it go? It goes forward, right? So when you tried to slow down, Taylor, you went back with your body, your seat actually told him to keep going. So you have to go, look, right, neutral, like sit still, don't make any noise right now, kind of. Meaning your body motion. Go all the way to the telephone pole and then slow down. So Before the telephone pole, you're going to coast, and that's where you sit real quiet. Now call him back to that quiet body. That's it.
That was really good.
Really good. Just keep going, but that was really good. And that was definitely better right there, Sam. I want you to do it one more time, Sam. Extend all the way around to this telephone pole over here on my left. So you're going to ride, you're going to sit really still during the coasting process, and then tell him to come back to that really still or quiet body. There you go. Because you guys, in the effort to like sit down, or what you were interpreting what I was telling you, you guys were actually pushing him through that moment that they needed to be coming back. Are you kind of poking yourself in the left rib cage a little bit?
Like on him, like I think you've got a pretty big feel for it, like on his vibrato just a little bit. So like just loosen your reins a notch and let's just stop it, like stop there. Feel his neckline go down then. So make sure if you have a horse that's willing to kind of like drop down in that bridle a little bit, you ride with enough feel that'll let him go there. And you're not just balanced back.
You're starting to go at a different angle.
That toe drop, so let that knee relax.
Right, remember what I was telling? I think what I was telling Kelsey was your right heel has a point, and you're going to, with that point of your right heel, you're going to push a button, a single solitary button for that left lobe to horse. Good. All right. Sam, go ahead and lope now. I want you to go ahead and just bring your toe up. Do not bring your knee up for me. Get that foot balanced right there. So that means you might need to make a little more contact on the back of your calf, or where your calf meets his belly, so that you feel like you can keep your leg just a little quieter without the stirrup. Try to get your knee down and your toe down. Again, I want you to imagine that your heel has a point to it, and that point is touching one button on the keyboard. I want you to actually see that in your mind's eye, that you're touching a spot. And then there. You feel him move? All right, so that's how your feet, when you don't have spurs, that's exactly how you activate things. That was great. Just like when she's starting to get closer to the corner, it was going down. So she must be pushing with her leg or her right hip or something to guide. So talk to her about that.
So make sure, like in the steering process, we're kind of looking at your alignment, and we see that, like when you get close to a fence or you get close to like a steering moment, that's when we see that right side really drop. So make sure that you're not trying. Make sure you're not trying to like push with your right hip or something, or push hard with your right leg to steer. You need to be very centered, and your horse steers with your
When
hand.
I say down,
Stay
it means
centered. You
go
can
that way,
support
not
with a
this
little bit of legs to say, hey, we're
That's
going to
better.
be
There we
bolting.
go.
But make sure
Good
you're
job.
not trying to press this horse over with any part of your body. So stay very centered. That's better. That's better. Good job.
So you have a supporting leg, but he steers off your hand. So that doesn't mean that your leg doesn't work, but your leg is not the principal player in the guiding. You don't turn your car with the accelerator, do you? Well, I mean, but it's that clear of an analogy. Use the steering wheel, right? But if you don't push on the accelerator, you don't go anywhere, so you can't steer, right? So it's the same stuff. Your legs work, but then you actually guide or steer with your hand, with the steering wheel. And the trick is becoming very subtle and very clever about steering. Because I can't, as a judge, I can't see a little micro move with your hand. Now, if your hand moves 12 inches to the left, I can see that. But don't feel like they can see every little millimeter that you move your hand. There's something under you moving. I want your upper body to give me that impression. Even right now, through the transition, while you're loping, down through the transition to the trot, and while you're trotting, it's always going to have that same level of body control. Right. That was a better effort. I like that effort. It's just a little too much, right? No big deal. So go back up in the transition. Better. When you get to the middle of the arena, I want you to slow to the jog. Better. Not right away. Feel like you're sitting quiet and still, and then tell your horse to come back to that really balanced place. Remember, I talked to the other girls. The more balanced you are, the easier it is for your horse to do what he's supposed to do. So if you're really quiet and balanced, then you can say, come here to me. But if you're moving, then there's a lot of that hole touching too many keys on the keyboard at the same time. Good. All right, let's reverse at the jog. You're going to jog nice. Your leg is supporting, but the hand is the guy, is the main player. Good. Right back to the rail. Don't hang out here for time. That's it. So, like, tell me some kind of figures that they do in the walk, like for the walk trot. You can't try to tell him to go from a standstill to the jog, because you're not going to jog, I promise you. So, in order, you got to think about it. They weigh 1,000 pounds at least, 1,100 pounds. So you got to get 1,100 pounds to go from here into motion. So, in order to look like you're jogging off, you can't walk and then jog, but you're going to step jog. So, it's easier to jog if you're already in motion, right? So you step and strike off in that jog, and to the naked eye it looks like you've jogged right off, but you know that you step jog. All right, so you try it since you're hearing me right there. You try it first so I can see each one of you. So strike, go. You don't walk and then jog. Go on. All right, so see what, you know what it felt like once you went from the walk to the jog, right? All right, so stop. Now try to do that same feel. This is the only walk, look at me, this is the only walk step you get, and then you're striking off in the jog. We're still trying to look like we're going right to the jog. So as soon as you say step forward or he leans forward, then you ask for the jog.
Okay.
Right there, jog.
It's better.
Better. Go right past Sam, keep going. When you get to the telephone pole, I want you to stop and try it again. So the whole idea is that it's easier to move if you get that 1,100 pounds going somewhere. So you get them to lean up and then you strike off. Don't try to strike off from a dead stop because they might saw up again. So try it on your own now. Better.
Not bad.
That was good, Sam. All right. So again, you're separating the two things, Sam, is you're getting the step and then you go, okay, now let's go. I want you, it's like the turnaround that you heard us talk to the other girls about. Stopping again. Both of you stop. Okay, Sam, you're going to go first. Stop, Taylor. Okay, so wait. All right, so look. You're going to step, and as soon as that step is initiated, you follow through with the trot transition. It's not like step, okay, I got to step now, let's trot. You ask for the step followed by the trot transition. It's still too much. Stop. Hard. Okay. Hold your hand still. Tell your horse to step, and as soon as you feel his body lean forward right there, ask for the trot. But see, you're pushing with one leg or the other or something because he's going sideways. He's telling on you. look, it's we always talk about it this way. It's like herding cats. You know, they're trying to go everywhere, but you're trying to get them to go in a straight line. So your legs are going to try to get his front legs. That's the catch. You're going to herd him in a straight line. There, go on. All right, I love the strike off into the trot, all right? But it took you a second. So let's just bring it down. So get him to lean forward and then strike off in that same way from the step forward. Right there, strike. Closer. Much better, but we still got to get it better than that. So as soon as you release him, go. There. I think that's really good, and I think if you just try again, stop him. So you're standing still, look. You feel that horse go like this, you go ahead and ask so that he just goes on with it, but it's going to look like you just jump off. That's all right. Walk. Send him forward. Right there, go. That's it. All right, is that the same walk step that she got in the competition, or is that better?
That's what.
As soon as that body goes forward, right there, strike. Good. All right, Sam. That's exactly right, Sam. That was really good. Again, it's really smooth looking, but look at me. This is what it looks like. And that's what his front legs look like. That was perfect. But it's a process, right? It's not just like, oh, come on, let's go. Because most horses are going to tell you no if you just kick it. Or you're going to get the launch. Those are your two options typically if you just try to bolt from the stand. Now, you lope off also, right? You lope in your,
Oh yeah.
you lope in your category.
Yeah.
So it's the same process there. If you're standing still and you have to lope, you step, cue. Because if you just get there 1,100 pounds, at least lean that direction, the transition. But, so you can't just stand there and ask for it, or you get all the side stuff. So why don't you start working on that transition? So I like the way you're putting it.
Like better than our front work right now, okay? So we'll have just a little softer, like it'll have just a little softer feel. Like I feel like you want to ride your horse just a little too short and kind of lean back on the bridle a little bit. Think about all those things that we're talking about. Of not rearing your body back, just sitting down squarely, okay? And riding, like I think you have a nice hand right there, okay? And remember, you can always increase your hand if you need to. It's hard to. It's always easy to add. It's hard to take away something that you do. So I would be worried that you like to have a little more feel of your horses, and I would worry that could mean a break in your. So I hate to see that happen. So again, so like right here, let's feel that lean forward, that step forward, and then step off. Good, very good. So I think maybe just a little touch behind right there, but you're really getting in a nice rhythm right here. Make sure in an effort to go, make sure that you're not panicked in asking your horse to go. You know, he talked about that. He talked about that. Press that button directly. Like you press that button a couple more times. You can't go kicking your ass. To get it better. So make everything lean forward.
There.
Much better. Good.
That's really good right there. That was the best one you did.
Sloping. Let's slow for just a second. Put a little more energy into that horse with your left leg just a little bit. There you go. Now remember about poking yourself in that left rib, because I really start to see it show up this direction.
All right. So what are you finding? Like on this horse, he's kind of going like this, right? So you got to tell him.
Okay, and let's stop right there. Close that stop, okay? So like right there, make sure that you're not, again, rearing behind the motion, leaning back, because that actually sends your horse forward. Okay, so if I'm riding, ran the last 2 days, so my legs are like dying, I can't even do it. If you're riding, you close that stop down. Don't send that, because it's like, I don't use a lot of analogies when I coach, but it's like when you lean back like that, it's like shoving, it's like taking the end of a tube of toothpaste and going like that. You shoot all your energy this way. You want the energy, you're going, and you want your energy to stop, okay? So that's kind of the motion you have to do, and then you finish it with your hands, okay? There you go. Good job. Did you feel the timing right there, Sam? Good job. Keep thinking about poking your left rib cage. So now let's stop. Down and close that stop. Okay? So that's more so the right idea right there, okay? We just have to finish it up because that time your horse's head didn't go up in the air and you're trying to go forward, okay? But we've got to be a little more aggressive, I think, with closing it off with our hand because you're loping, and it took you 3 steps to stop, okay? 3 steps to stop could mean like bad things are happening, right? You could get in a spot that you don't want to be in, right? So practice the transition. Make that get his weight leaning forward, and then step. There, that's really good, Sam. Keep supporting with that left leg, thinking about that. There you go.
Make him lean forward and strike off the moment.
Now over by the barrel, I want to see you stop, and I want to see you think about closing that stop.
I have to be behind you. Go. There we go.
Better. Way
In the meantime, I want you to pick your stirrups up. Don't pull your leg up. See, your leg came up whenever you went to pick your stirrup up. There we go. That's better. Everybody does it. All right, stop. I don't mean just all of you. Like most riders do the same thing. All right. So let's, with the stirrups, let's strike him off in that trot. Think about it. Right there, you should be trotting. You're trotting 3 steps after that. Think about what I'm telling you. I mean, I know you can't, you're trying to do it after I tell you, but I'm trying to tell you so that the next time you do it, your mind is in the same place mine is. Okay, stop. Don't you have her turn around and work on the left?
Okay. Good. So, and let's stop right there, Sam, and close that stop. There, that's it right there.
Yeah,
that was really good, right? And like outside looking in, you'll see on the video, it's like your body never changed. And that's what we want to see. We want to see somebody that lopes up there, closes stop, they don't see him haul backwards, and head, horse's head swinging in the air and all that stuff. That's what will make that stop nice. Okay. So let's stop right there. Okay. Now let's practice that lean forward and step them off to the trot because you're
Kick him a little bit one time.
better at the jump than you are at the trot. Okay. Good. Again, think about closing that stop. Okay. Better. Make sure you jog at like a decent distance before you stop. Like you've got to jog more than 5 steps. So then I'll let you practice that.
But again, it's just like you're waiting. It's almost like you're waiting to see if he jogs off. I want you again. You get this, then you go. Okay, let's go.
There it is.
In your mind, your body, like everything about you is going to say, let's go.
Now, because I'm going to tell you one thing that you
Go.
have to work at.
Better. That was again a better effort. Go all the way to the fence. Get along beside the fence before you stop again. And then I want you to improve on that, Alex, because that was a really good effort. So then I want you to improve on it. Go. That's all right. Go to the telephone pole and stop. All right, go. That's it.
There we go.
That was just right. Very good, Taylor. Do you have a sensation of what that feels like now?
Okay.
Then stop at that telephone pole and you show me your version of that.
Left, it's fall right. Like you had like what he was saying, like you're herding animal. Like that time you herded him up there to that trot. That was really good.
Good job.
So let's close
Really
that
good.
stop. There, good.
All right,
See,
once
like
you
you're not
look
like
this
you're
way a
not-
little bit just for something different.
Because you're not rearing
Same
back.
thing.
Okay, that's
You're
really
gonna,
good.
you're gonna touch that button with that side,
Let's
that
stand
right
there
foot,
for
and
a
then just
second.
lope him
Stand
off.
right
Good.
there. And we're gonna try to. We're gonna do the step into the lope off. Step and lope off. Okay. And again, like you're directly pressing that button. Okay. So get him to lean forward and lope. Nice job.
Where'd you send the girls for getting drinks? Just send them. It's going to direct you left, and your horse should all day. I want you to think a little bit like this is something I tell mine. Keep going. Is that you bring your horse's nose back and then turn left. You go forward, you bring your horse's nose back and then turn right. So there. That was really good. See how square that was? So bring his nose back and then go either way, whichever way you plan to go. There you go. Good, go on. So you have to be just a little more clear with your hands so he understands what you're doing. You were just a little shy there.
Yeah.
Go right. Move your hand until he go there.
So right there, Sam, just
So
make
you
a
bring
circle.
your hand back and
there
then
you
you
go.
move your
Good.
hand until he
Find a spot to
turns
draw a
and
circle for
completes
me.
it. There.
There. Really think about your rib cage. So as soon as you trotted away from me profiling, you were looking really good. I see a lot of crookedness right there. So you've got to almost overdo it for you to feel normal, okay?
You just do it enough to make contact.
You've got to kick that rib cage over there farther than you think you need to. Because we have a rider that's a very good rider that does the same thing. She's got to almost feel like she's crooked the other way for her to be straight, okay? You just kind of have to retrain your brain what is right. And I mean, I'm the same way. I pull harder with my right hand all the time. So I have to make sure that I'm pulling harder with I have to make myself feel like I'm pulling harder with my left hand and then I'm balanced.
Okay, look. Your circle was supposed to be in front of me.
Oh! You running into me?
I'm going to direct you over on top of it. All right.
You know, the jog and the lope can fix that a lot because if you're just
She has to straighten up.
Right, but if you're just riding straight someplace, it's very easy to lean back. But if you physically have to soften your hand and steer for it to be successful, because she's getting way better here.
Oh yeah.
And that alignment in her upper body.
Is she twisting right or left usually?
She pushes her rib cage
To
to
the
the
right,
left,
okay.
and then it drops the right shoulder.
Okay.
So, and it's not so much about fixing her shoulders.
It's about fixing her ribs.
fixing her rib cage.
Right.
Good. So do you feel like your hand is like you know how like I was kind of picking on you about like just not leaning back in the bridle? Like after this little bit of steering, like what do you notice about your horse? Is his neckline getting softer? Yeah. Because what's happening is you're not balancing on that horse's mouth the whole time because I made you do something that you couldn't just ride in a straight line and kind of lean on it, okay? This is all getting way better, okay? Okay, and you get your left leg in place, you touch a button. Not bad. Good. Let's come around here and try that again. So this time, the simple lead change the other way, you're going to get your leg, you're going to draw your horse back to your right leg a little bit, okay? And your leg goes to presses one button, presses one stop. Good. So get your right leg on your horse, and it's not about, so stop for just a second, stop right there. So it's not about pulling that leg back 6 inches, it's just because your leg's in a pretty decent spot. Just bring your leg directly into your horse, okay? So when I say get your leg in position, I'm not saying I want you to pull your leg back in cue. Your leg just comes in and finds your horse's stomach, okay?
Every step has a little, like if you're going to have 3 degrees of turn in every step, then you should have 3 degrees of turn in every step, not 3 degrees, then 6, then 1, then 0, and then 10. Like you got to think about 3 degree turn, 3 degree turn. I mean, that's just an arbitrary number, but trying to give you a picture.
Down there a little bit, let's try one the other way.
Much better. See, to me, all of those steps have the same amount of guiding to them. So follow that all the way up through here. Even here, there's some turning. This is the only flat spot is right in front of me. Good. Now look. So does your circle go straight right now?
No.
Okay, so as you step off, you're going to step off right on your curve. So think about that. You're going to do it. You're going to step from standstill to a trot and get on the curve. I'm giving you lots of layers here. So show me everything. Go.
Let him have a break. Let's let him catch his breath for just a second.
Got some walk
We're gonna
steps
work
and
on
some straight
turnaround.
steps.
You're going to come over. You come over here and let him stand someplace.
Okay, so you're going to strike off in the trot like all that other work we did and get on the curve. So you have to guide him into the transition. Go, now. That's better. Good job.
I was.
Yeah. Like your circle is like this. It needs to be centered here. So turn and go up your circle. So if you're going to go, so kind of just glance back at me. So you should be that far up there. You should be that far over there. You need to kind of look around the circle and see what's round. So just kind of glance at every, you have 4 points, like just like my watch. At 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You got to hit all those points. Just like, well, my watch is not a good example. I thought I had my round watch. There you go.
And with the foot move there. Good. Bring it around. Good. And follow through.
Go on. You get up to that top portion.
Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning and soften your hand down just a little bit. Keep turning. Good. Come on. Keep riding around there. Good. And stop. So what did I say? Going back just a initiate. Now balance, cadence, and ride your horse around. Come on. Just ride faster. Just ride faster. Just ride faster. There. Good job. And stop. Okay. Good.
And transfer it to the dirt. So in some of your school classes in high school and college, they have a projector kind of thing where the professor puts a piece of paper down that shows it up on a big screen, right? That's what you're doing. And the pencil that you're drawing with is your horse. So you take that pattern, you blow it up big, lay it out in the arena, and then with your horse you trace over it. Like does that picture, do they give you a picture like what you're supposed to do? So it's not a matter of just going out there and going around this way and going this way and here. You're trying to transfer that form, those proportions onto the thing. And I can tell you, Deborah's a freak about, and that's not a bad word. No. Deborah's particular about the form, what it looks like.
A freak. I got that on video.
Thanks. Video. She's really particular about if it's shaped like this, by gosh, you better do that shape.
Keep riding. Don't give up. And stop. Good. Now go back to the left. Soft hand. Let him find his entrance. Now ride him around there. Come on. Come on. Keep that cadence. Keep riding.